I'm so excited to take you guys along for a little day in the life today. I feel like I have a lot to do and I want to do some workouts and actually test my ankle out. You guys, if you watched last week's video, you guys know that I sprained my ankle. So literally less than 2 weeks out from a 105-mile trek, 35,000 feet of elevation gain, I sprained my ankle. So we have a couple of things that I want to get done today to kind of test it out and push it a little bit. I've gotten PT clearance to do all the things that I'm doing, so don't worry about that and don't give me crap about it because I have been given clearance. But I wanted to take you guys along for the day today, and I also wanted to give you guys kind of a real and raw update of where I'm at. So like mentally, physically, all the things from my past couple of videos. I've opened up a little bit about this, so I will be talking about miscarriage in this video, so a little trigger warning. Once again, if I talk about this at all, it'll always be in the title, so you're not thrown off by any means. I owe you guys like a full explanation, like sit down video. That's not going to be in today's video because I do want it to be kind of focused on TMB and just kind of a day, but I will be talking about that in this video. So I want to just give you guys a trigger warning and be honest about that. But I wanted to start off today with a little piece of the word, okay? So you guys know I love reading my Bible. If you're not into this, you can go ahead and skip a couple minutes, but for those who are wanting this or interested in this, I just wanted to read this verse that just, I feel like hit my soul really deeply this morning, and I feel like you might need to hear this if you are watching this as well. So John 15 reads, "I am the true vine and my Father is the gardener. Every branch in me that does not produce fruit, he removes, and he prunes every branch that produces fruit so it'll produce more fruit. Just as a branch is unable to produce fruit by itself unless it remains on the vine, neither can you unless you remain in me." And I feel like so many people go through tough times and they get closer to the Lord. And I feel like that's not a coincidence. I feel like when you grow up with faith, or if you've developed faith over time, you realize that you can't do hard things on your own. And in suffering, you get closer to him because you realize that you need him to release the burdens from your heart and release the burdens from your life. And I feel like in doing that, we attach ourselves to the vine in negative times, but I feel like we can also learn how to attach ourselves to the vine in positive times as well, to be able to produce more fruit and to be able to be pruned by the Holy Spirit, be pruned by Jesus, and to be able to live life bearing more fruit. What are these fruits? Like, we're talking about fruits, we're talking about vines. I'm not really sure how to understand this. If you've never been introduced to faith, this might be super confusing to you, but I want to break it down really simply. You can have a religious XYZ like list of things that you like to do, but those things might not bring you closer to God. The Bible talks about the things that bring us closer to God and the things that bring us further away from God. And oftentimes the fleshly desires that we have on this earth, the things that bring us into lust or bring us into greed or selfishness, those things actually bring us further away from God. And there are things that bring us closer to God that are also outlined in the Bible as well. But the things that we get by living attached to the vine and actually allowing the Holy Spirit to come into our body are the fruits of the Spirit. So what are the fruits of the Spirit? It's actually outlined in Galatians 5:22. It says, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control." So all of these things, it doesn't say, hey, you get more money, you get less suffering, you get XYZ. These are not the fruits of the Spirit. Sometimes we think if we have a closer relationship with God, we won't experience suffering in our life, or we will have an easier life, or we'll get richer, or we'll get all these things. These are the things that come with having a closer relationship with God, and that's just not true. It says in the Bible that we get more love, we get more joy, we get more self-control, we get more kindness, we are able to receive more gentleness, and I just feel like those fruits are those everlasting fruits. They're not the fruits that are fleeting, that we have this like earthly desire to achieve. These are the things that actually allow us to live life with more light. And light is from God, and light is from the fruits of the Spirit. So I hope that wasn't confusing for those who are not, do not have a background in Christianity, but that is something that was just heavy on my mind this morning, and I thought I would share it with y'all. So because we're still rehabbing the ankle, there's been a few things that I've been doing to help. So the number one thing that I've been doing is rucking and then also doing the elliptical while I haven't been able to run. I have been cleared to run, but it is a little bit painful still. So I might do a run a little bit later today on the tread, but I have basically taken a whole week off of trail running to help my ankle just heal. So it was really bad, like super duper swollen, very discolored. It's definitely looking a lot better now. I can show you. So you can still see a little bit of swelling on the outside here, and actually some discoloration still, actually quite a bit of discoloration still. But it looks like a million times better than it previously did. So I will definitely chalk it up to doing PT. I went 3 days last week, and I'll probably try and go at least 2 days this week before I leave for TMB. But rucking has been honestly a absolute godsend. So loading the ankle, like slightly loading the ankle, but then being in a walking pattern can help stimulate healing. So rice is out. So my PT said 100% rice is out. So rest, ice, compression, elevation is out. Even the creator of rice has completely rescinded it. It's not actually progressive for healing. We actually want to stress the ankle a little bit, especially after the initial inflammation stage. So we actually want to send blood flow to that area. So this is why things like dry needling, like scraping, like massage, and like compression are actually good for the ankle because it sends blood flow to the area. So in the same vein, we want to increase blood flow and actually work the muscles and the ligaments and the tendons that all got stressed in the ankle sprains. So most ankle sprains will benefit from doing some movement depending on the severity, but for me, it's definitely helped a lot. So I am gonna pop my canes on, do a little dog ruck before it gets too hot because it's been getting so stinking hot so early, which I'm like, Utah summers, it's the desert, it's so hot. So let's go do it. Let's go do a little ruck. So we just hit 2.5 miles and we're gonna probably end it pretty soon here. It's getting a little bit too hot. So this is what a ruck looks like. This is from Go Ruck. I have 25 pounds, I believe, in here right now. So just adds a little bit of resistance, but also just makes it a little bit more challenging. And I tell you what, I sweat like an absolute pig after rucking. Okay, our nice little ruck is done. I am covered in sweat. I don't know if you can tell because it's a light shirt, but little 2.64 mile ruck is done. I'm gonna go to the gym. I don't know if I'm gonna film at the gym because I might go to the more busy gym that I go to, but if I don't take you along, I will tell you what I did. But until we do that, I'm gonna change my shirt really quick, make some food, and then shower and get ready for the day. But I am starving, so let's make some food.
Blue sky haze. Used to live a picture perfect day. Drunk punch, love disappear. Forever without a trace. Salty wounds crush me, spinning out of control. Don't know what made you leave. Maybe I'd rather not know.
So I've been in kind of a lot of pain over the past couple of hours. I had breakfast and then showered and everything and got ready for the gym, and I've just been not feeling good at all. So I am gonna go to the gym now. I feel a little bit better. I'm gonna take some Tylenol to just see if that helps things subside. But honestly, my mental really needs at least a lift. So I'm gonna do that. But before I do that, I'm gonna do a little BPN haul. So I just got a restock on all of my things. And also this is gonna get me through Tour de Mont Blanc. So I'm gonna show you what I got. If you ever shop BPN, please use my code if you feel so inclined. I really appreciate you guys doing that if you are able to. My code is Amanda and it will save you a little bit of money at checkout. So let's do that haul. So the first thing that I always stock up on 100% of the time are my Go Gels. So apple cinnamon is my favorite flavor. I also really like the caffeinated versions. They have 75 milligrams of caffeine and those come in mixed berry, but I have plenty in the cupboard. So I just got a bunch of gels. This is gonna get me through all of the 100 miles, 35,000 feet of elevation gain. So I got several boxes of Go Gels. So I go through these so freaking fast. So every time I order them, I feel like it's like excessive, but it ends up actually running out by the time I get another restock for the next month. And then I actually got Tyler a whey protein. I'm allergic to milk, so I can't have whey protein. I actually do the BPN vegan. My favorite flavor is chocolate. I have it every single day, but Tyler really likes the peanut butter whey, so I get him the peanut butter whey protein from BPN. The macros on this are 3 fat, 5 carbs, 25 protein, and the breakdown is whey protein concentrate, powdered peanut butter, casein, salt, xanthan gum, stevia, monk fruit, sea salt. So very minimal ingredients, very clean. As you can see here, it's 88% whey and then 12% casein. He loves this whey protein, so this is what I get for Tyler. And then I got a couple tubs. I actually already opened another one of these, but I got a couple tubs of the BPN electrolytes. This is in the flavor lemon lime. It is my absolute favorite. This is what I utilize on all of my training runs and in all of my races. I also got, actually already opened these as well. I put 3 full containers of these in a Ziploc bag to take with me to Tour de Mont Blanc, but these go packs are super convenient and this is what I travel with. So I can travel with the tub, but I just find this to be a lot easier because they're already pre-portioned out into 500 milligram sodium packs. So I literally can just grab them on the go and I could throw a couple in my vest while I'm running. So I'll show you what they look like. If I can open this. These are the individual go packs. So they're really small, really light, super convenient to travel with. I always travel with these and I always order these for my restocks because I run out of them so freaking fast. And then I got the new shaker cup and I'm so excited to show you this. This is the new shaker cup and it looks so freaking sick. I love the white and I love the little rock on, or I guess longhorn sign. This is really, really cute. I always grab a couple of these like probably twice a year, 3 times a year, because I do end up like just recycling the ones that we have if they're like beat up or broken, etc. And then the last thing that I got a restock on is I got 4 tubs of G1M. So G1M Sport has been my absolute favorite thing that I've incorporated since racing Leadville 100 last year. I did not utilize a powdered carbohydrate, which was so dumb. Like I don't understand actually why I didn't, but that was a huge change that I made this year and my performance has skyrocketed since having a liquid carbohydrate. So you mix this with water and it has carbohydrates as well as electrolytes. So you're getting the energy that you would take from like a gel and then also the electrolytes that you would take from an electrolyte. So I do have gels and electrolytes, but then I also supplement with this. I put 2 scoops in a 500 milliliter flask in my vest and that gives me 40 grams of carbs and 700 milligrams of sodium. So really, honestly, if you are feeling underfueled for any of your runs, if you feel like you're getting to like the 45-minute mark and you're feeling absolutely drained, my recommendation is to make sure that you're fueling intra-run and also fueling before your run. So I will take this pre-run as well as intra-run and I will put these in like individual baggies to take with me in my vest. I've measured this out before, or I've showed you guys this before, but I put these in like little popsicle bags to be able to throw in my vest and be able to restock. So I will be portioning this out before I leave for TMB into those little baggies. But if you've been looking for an absolute game changer in your training, I would say it would be G1M. BPN also came out with a caffeinated and nootropic version of G1M Sport as well. I actually have it in the cabinet behind me. This is the secret packaging of the G1M Sport Plus, but this product has nootropics and caffeine and it's basically just like a zippy version of the G1M Sport. So if you're looking for a caffeinated version, there is G1M Sport Plus. As an ultra runner, I wouldn't rely just on G1M Sport Plus because you're gonna basically overdose on caffeine versus having the option to take as many scoops basically as you need during an endurance event and not having to worry about caffeine. So love these products for multiple different reasons, but that is the main restock that I got. The last restock that I actually got extra creatine monohydrate and extra peak sleep. These are 2 products that I actually take on the daily basis and we run out of really quick. So I always make sure to get extra. So I didn't need it in this restock. So that is everything that I got. I hope that's helpful for y'all. Once again, if you shop BPN, please make sure to use code Amanda at checkout if you want to support the channel. It really does help me out. Okay. I have had the craziest 36 hours of my entire life. It's really funny. I watched back the last clip because I was like, I need to figure out where I left off this vlog. And I started the clip by saying I'm in a lot of pain, but I'm gonna go to the gym. Jokes on me and you, I did not go to the gym. I am gonna talk about what happened over the past 36 hours, and I'm gonna tell you what happened next. This is a trigger warning. I'm gonna be talking about miscarriage. So if you don't wanna listen to this part, go ahead and maybe just skip to the end of this video. Like I think the rest of this video are gonna be talking about this because I just had the craziest experience of my entire life. So let's have a very real talk about miscarriage and maybe some things that I wasn't expecting that I experienced and then some things that are to come for me and my journey. So in my last video talking about my pregnancy and announcing my pregnancy to YouTube and giving you guys a little look into what the next couple of weeks of pregnancy were going to look like, I left off on letting you guys know that my midwife essentially told us that we will end up miscarrying, but we decided to choose faith and hope that that wouldn't be the case. It was still really early on in the pregnancy, and we were just really honestly hoping for the best. Fast forward over a month later, we are now 12 and a half weeks pregnant, and I am miscarrying. So yesterday, after we talked and I did a little BPN haul, I actually started experiencing like very severe symptoms of miscarriage, and it lasted was basically in active labor for 10 hours. So for 10 hours, I was literally laying on this floor right here in the living room with a heating pad and was in 10 out of 10 pain. Like nothing in an ultra even comes close to the pain that I experienced yesterday. I was literally like wailing in pain, rolling around on the ground. And at one point I, for like 3 hours, was like screaming out to Jesus, please have mercy on me. It was literally like a horror movie. And Tyler was traveling for work. He comes in later tonight. So I was alone in the house, which is just like, that makes it that much harder and more difficult emotionally, but also physically as well. But basically from noon until I went to bed at midnight, I didn't even go to bed at midnight. I went to bed at 2:30 finally this morning. I just was in the most amount of pain I've ever experienced before, and I was passing clots the size of my palm. I passed about 5 clots the size of my palm and was literally in active labor, like having contractions, but it was like never ending. Because I was passing so many clots, it felt like my body wasn't expelling what it needed to expel, obviously, so it just kept coming and coming and coming, and I just literally have never been in so much pain in my entire life. The midwife actually prepped us in our last appointment, for the potential of miscarrying. She said, it will be no more than like period cramps and you will have bleeding, but if you're not filling up 2 pads every hour, there's no need to go to the doctor or to go to the ER. But this was not even close to period cramps. And I've had pretty bad period cramps over the course of my life, but this was literally, doesn't even like scratch the surface of the pain that I experienced. I've never been like wailing out in pain like that, and definitely never have gone like a 12-hour period where there's just no reprieve in the pain that I experienced. I ended up taking, so after Advil and Tylenol were just not working, I ended up taking oxycodone that we had in the cabinet from like a previous surgery, and that was literally the only thing that finally allowed my pain to subside a little bit. And I just feel like this is so important to talk about because people don't talk about miscarriages. I think the reason why we hold so much shame is because we don't have the answers to things, so then we look for answers and reason, and we find that in ourselves. When in reality, I've been told by multiple OBs at this point, I've been told by the ER doctor that I saw, which we'll go into that this is not your fault. If you are going through something like this is not your fault. This happens, it's frequent. It may not happen like 12 and a half weeks along like mine did, but it might happen like 4 or 5 weeks in pregnancy, and it's very, very, very common. But people don't talk about this, I think, in addition to it being shameful, because it's so traumatic. I had no idea. Like, I literally had zero idea as to what this would be like, both emotionally and physically, until I started going through it. The emotional toll that this has taken on me, knowing that this could occur over the past few weeks, has been excruciating. I've been actually suffering, and I don't utilize that word often at all. I feel like that word is reserved for things that truly are suffering, and I feel like the emotional grief that I have had to endure over the past few weeks has been excruciating, and it has been true suffering. And if you've experienced loss like this, you would understand that this is suffering. And I think the only other time that I've experienced suffering as an adult has been in my cancer journey. But I honestly just had no idea what to expect yesterday. So after we ended the vlog clip that you saw, it was literally the start of the most excruciating 10 hours of my entire life. And I wish that I could explain this in a way that makes sense for you guys, but I want to give as much context as I can, because I'm not ashamed of talking about this. I think it's really important to talk about, and I think if I talk about it, maybe it helps someone else feel less alone, and also maybe allows someone else to talk about it more with their friends or their family, and they don't feel less alone. I feel like the worst thing that we could possibly do in this grief is to be isolated and feel alone, not only in our communities, but also in our bodies and ourselves, and going through all of these changes. I just feel so freaking horrible for the women who've gone through this, that have not told anyone, that have had to suffer in silence. And I just urge you, if you're one who is maybe considering suffering in silence, please do not. Lean on your community, tell people what you're going through, and not only will you be helping yourself to be able to have community around you, you will also be helping others feel less alone in their journey as well. I feel like it is kind of my opportunity right now to spread awareness about miscarriage and be honest and raw with y'all, and maybe like reduce some of the taboo-ness about talking about this, because it's just, once again, it's just not your fault. It's not your freaking fault. So I went to bed at 2:30 in the morning this morning. I woke up at like 5:30, 6 o'clock, because I couldn't really sleep, and just kind of went about my day this morning. I had some coaching meetings and tried to basically just operate as if that did not happen last night. And I honestly felt like maybe that was the end of this miscarriage. Like, I felt like my pain had subsided a little bit, the bleeding has subsided a little bit, and to be honest, like, I felt like maybe that was the end of it. And I talked to my OB on the phone, and I described to her my symptoms and everything that I experienced yesterday, and she asked me to go to the ER. So today I've spent basically my entire day in the ER, and we had some tests run, we had blood tests done, and we had a follow-up ultrasound, and I have not passed the gestational sac. So I've not passed like the bulk of the pregnancy, which is absolutely asinine. The fact that I was in that agonizing amount of pain yesterday and was literally passing multiple blood clots the size of my palm, and that's not the bulk of the pregnancy, is terrifying. I'm gonna be so real. That is so freaking terrifying. So tomorrow I do go in to have surgery. This is going to be to prevent hemorrhaging and to prevent any sort of emergency things that I might experience if I try to miscarry naturally. I basically did start miscarrying naturally, and it did not go well for me, and so that is the route that we are going to be taking tomorrow morning. I'm praying and hoping that tonight I can get through the night and not have another episode of like active labor of passing these gigantic clots, but we will see. Tomorrow I'll go in the morning and have a procedure done that essentially just completely will remove all of the tissue and hopefully allow me to heal a lot faster than potentially how long this could take. I don't really know how to feel about everything, if I'm going to be totally honest. I feel like the emotional grief that I have had over the past few weeks has just now been replaced by like legitimately like a traumatic experience, like physical experience, to where now I just like literally, I have no words. I don't know how to feel, and I'm both in like a lot of physical pain and also just like, I feel like I'm gonna be like mourning this and also trying to process all of this over the next couple of months. I literally had no idea that women were going through this on the regular. I can't even explain to you like how much my heart breaks for those who've experienced this and just have done it in silence. I can't even imagine. So I just also want to note, since I started sharing about my pregnancy journey on Instagram and here on YouTube, so many people have opened up to me about their individual stories, and I just like the range of incredible stories, from these like beautiful miracles of people's success stories of being told that they were going to miscarry and then carrying to full term these healthy, beautiful babies, to then also having women who've expressed to me that they've experienced multiple losses in their life and then have gone on to have multiple pregnancies that were healthy, yet they still mourn those early pregnancies that they lost. And I feel like this has opened up my heart and has completely softened my heart to the female experience. And to anyone who feels like they're like broken or alone in this, let me just tell you firsthand, as someone who has shared online, You are literally not, you are actually not alone. There are so many women who've gone through similar things, or things that have been really successful, or maybe even just worse situations. And I just want to say that there's hope for all spectrums of individuals out here. We can have peace, we can have joy, we can have celebration after the grief. If you're going through grief right now, I would encourage you to walk through this grief. Do not distract yourself into oblivion. Do not push it so far deep down to where it won't come up until like it's exploding out of you years and years and years later. Go through that grief. Sit with it. If you're a praying person or you're someone who reads the Bible, sit and journal and just pour out your feelings of how you're feeling, and sit with the Lord and ask for clarity or ask for strength, or just sit with the Lord and be angry with him. Like, the Lord wants you to come to him and be in your broken state. He wants you to come as you are. And if I've learned anything over these past few weeks, it's just that God doesn't want me to be perfect. God doesn't expect me to be perfect. And also, God is going to be good in all things, even if it's just this terrible, horrible, heartbreaking thing, like a loss. I went into it a little bit on my stories and in the previous YouTube video, but I truly believe that God has a purpose for everyone. And maybe the purpose of this, if I try to find the silver lining in all of this, it's just to help one person feel as though they're heard, understood, and seen in this video. And I hope by sharing this that I'm able to allow at least one person watching this to feel those feelings. I know this video started off with me getting ready to leave for Tour de Mont Blanc, which I still am going to do on Friday. So it is Tuesday today. I have my surgery on Wednesday, and then I will leave on Friday. And I know I've received quite a few comments that are saying like, girl, give yourself rest, etc. But this is my job, and this specific trek, there are a lot of people who are relying on me to be there. I am hosting this trek to take you guys, like community that follows me, out into the mountains to do something really hard together. And you know, there is a part of me that's like, oh my gosh, like, am I gonna be able to do this in the state that I will be in? And then there's another side that's just trusting God and knows that by me showing up in the state that I currently am, I'm going to help maybe one of those gals or one of those guys who are coming on that trek. And maybe it's not on this trek that it helps them, but maybe it's in the future to give them some perspective, or make them feel a little bit less alone in the future if they experience something. But I know there's people who are looking out for me, and I know you guys have well intentions, and I just want to say that I am looking out for myself, but I am also trusting God. And God has given me no signs to tell me not to go in this thing, and has only given me signs of strength amidst all of this craziness. So I know in him I have the strength, and he takes away my burdens, and we'll be okay. And maybe a little distraction and a little connection to community will help me grieve through this process. But I want to talk about one more thing that comes mostly from Instagram. All of my YouTube comments are so kind, but on Instagram things can get a little crazy. On TikTok things can get way crazier. But on Instagram I received a comment that just kind of stuck with me, and I feel the need to share it because I think this can open some hearts and eyes. There was a girl who commented and said essentially like, I'm so sorry for your loss. I hope you get pregnant again, but in your next pregnancy, please don't run because it puts stress on the fetus. I just want to say that is 100% false. And those types of comments put the blame on the mom. So that comment put blame on me for the miscarriage. And I've been told time and time again that there's literally nothing that I could have done to prevent this miscarriage. So it's not my fault. I don't have shame in this because I know that it's not my fault. And I know that the exercise that I did throughout this pregnancy was doing nothing but help my baby, and will do nothing but help my baby in the future. And anything that you are doing in your pregnancy within reason, obviously not doing drugs or drinking, is not going to harm your baby, and it's not going to cause early miscarriage. So if you're thinking about leaving a comment like this, I just would love for you to rethink it and potentially like look into the actual science on miscarriage, and know that the woman who has carried this baby and taken care of this baby and sacrificed her body for this baby is not the one to blame for miscarriage. 99.9% of the time, it has had nothing to do with the mother. It had everything to do with the millions of replications of DNA and the process potentially being flawed. So where do we go from here? I think tomorrow I will do a little recap of the procedure and let you guys know how that went. This is the most raw and real vlog I've ever vlogged, but I do think it's important to open up to y'all and share with you guys like how everything's going in this regard, just to be as transparent as I possibly can be. And in addition to that, I want to feel good in my body, and I want to heal from this mentally and physically, and I want to get back to kind of where I started before all this happened as close as I can. Something that's been really hard for me has been to have this excess weight gain that I gained over the past, I mean, technically it was 14 weeks of pregnancy that I'm now just left with. I'm left with all the signs of pregnancy. I still have high HCG. I have this weight gain. I have the mood issues. I've had skin changes. I've had hormonal changes like crazy, and I'm left with all this and now not having a rainbow at the end of this storm. So not having a baby to be able to take home, which is so heartbreaking. So my goal over the next few months is just to feel like me again. So I'm excited to take you guys along for this. So that is where I'm gonna end today's vlog. Sorry that it was just all over the place, but this is what happens when you vlog in real time and things happen. And I hope that this video just helps one of y'all who's going through a tough time. I've been in my word a lot, and John 13:7 is Jesus' specific words reminding us that we might not understand things that are happening right now, but we will realize the meaning of it all in the future. And I hope you know that you're so loved and you're so worthy of parenthood and so worthy of pregnancy. Even if you're going through all this right now, I hope you know that you're so worthy of it and you're deserving of it and you're so loved and you're gonna be the freaking best parent ever. It's just maybe not our time quite yet. So I love you guys so much. Until next time, stay unbreakable.